Things that separate season 7 from all the other seasons in CSI is, for a very long time, we were very content that our stories sort of had a beginning and a middle and an end within themselves. So if you could watch a show from season 3 or season 1 or season 5, and you kind of could watch them and they didn't have to be in a particular order, you know. This year, almost everything that we're seeing is going to lead to something. Yeah, it's always a surprise to me, actually, when that storyline gets tipped. And from the very beginning of the inception of my character coming onto the show of CSI and them deciding to add this character, there's this little piece of paper that you get when you go to audition for these roles. And I think the first sentence said love interest for Grissom. So from day one of me kind of going for the audition, this was a story that hung there in the ethers. And then, you know, as we started to go into season 1 and season 2 and realized that we were going to have a season 3, I think there was interest on everybody's part of not to, so to speak, blow our wad too soon. You know, you tell this story, then where do you go from there? And it could be, you know, if we were lucky enough, which it seemed might be happening, there'd be years of awkwardness after the breakup or, you know, stuff that we didn't want to play for 3 seasons. So I think that it was kind of wise to hold back on it, and then we got to a point where we thought maybe the fans were not interested in it anymore, that it would be a story that had sort of been played out, it wasn't going to happen, you know, that the stars didn't align for those 2 characters. They worked together. Obviously, this is a mystery that we hope to unravel this year. How long have they been seeing each other outside of the office? It seems obviously in that finale that that wasn't the first time that they found themselves in a bedroom together. There was, I think, what we hope to play sort of a familiarity, that this was, you know, so did that happen in season 2? Was it season 4? Was this something that lingered from San Francisco where, you know, Sarah and Grissom, you know, sort of are reported to have met and gotten to know each other? And there was one thing certain in episode 1 of season 1, that the 2 characters had some kind of history. It wasn't the first time they were meeting, that there was a past there for them. Wow, that was huge. I mean, that was really huge. I mean, I'm a long-standing Who fan. You know, my brother's 12 years older than I am, and when he went to college, he gave me all his rock and roll records, and he had a pretty good collection, and there was a lot of Who in it. So I'd say I was 5 when I started listening to the Who, and I love them. I've seen them in concert several times, you know, in California, and you know, we somehow attracted this little theme song that we've got, you know, that. And I remember, again, going way back, really reminiscing with you down memory lane, when standing up in this area called Santa Clarita that we used to shoot in, there's nothing there. I mean, nothing. There's actually a lot more there now than there was 6 years ago. It's an area that's been built up so much over the last 6 years. And Billy's standing there, and I'm standing there, and Gary's standing there, and we're talking about what's going to be the theme song for CSI, you know, and he's saying, well, you know, there's this Who song. And we thought, that's never going to happen. That's a great idea, Billy, but that's not going to happen. You know, it doesn't do TV shows. And then lo and behold, it happened, and it's done enormous things for the show, just in terms of that one song. You know, people know that song, and they now, I think, when they hear it, they think of us too, you know. Grissom arrives at a crime scene, and sitting on the counter at the crime scene is an exact replica of the crime scene. So it's a crime scene within a crime scene. And it's odd, and it's fascinating and interesting. Nobody's ever seen anything like it before, and I think that everybody decides that it's an anomaly. You know, it's not going to happen again. And then lo and behold, a few episodes pass, and here it's reoccurred. For Eric, it's a really great storyline. For him, you know, all about that moment where there's a moment in time and you have a very, very short amount of time to make a decision. You make a decision, and what are the ramifications of that decision? I think that everyone, you know, in life, at some point in our lives, we've had that moment, you know. It might not have necessarily, the stakes might not have been as high as they were for Greg or as life-threatening, but, you know, just a moment where you tell somebody you had an affair or you don't, or, you know, you decide to walk out of a relationship or you don't, and then everything changes from that. Your entire life changes from this moment in time where somebody you love gets hit by a bus. Any of those things, you know, people have been through that, and it's really cool, and to see the results of that, you know.